Veterans Coming Home is made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by Pride Stores.
And we continue our series, Veterans Coming Home, with a look very specifically now at programs and opportunities available at the University of Massachusetts at Amherst for our men and women who have served in uniform. And with us to do that are Kelly Gray. Dr. Gray is an Associate Dean of Students for Student Life at the University of Massachusetts at Amherst. Also with us, David Vacchi. And David, you've been with us a number of times before in a number of capacities, and your introduction could take most of the 8 minutes we have. But right now, you're coordinator of the Student Veteran Resource Center at UMass Amherst. You're a graduate assistant to the Dean of Students. You're an adjunct lecturer. You're going for your doctorate. You were regional director for ROTC at UMass and other colleges in the Valley. You've been with us in that capacity before. You are a retired Lieutenant Colonel, United States Army, veteran, obviously, yourself, and combat veteran. You were in Iraq, did some time in Kuwait, and you retired, as you were just telling me, from Korea. So you've seen it all. But between you, we're going to find out everything there is, excuse me, at UMass for vets. We're really pleased to have you both here. Dean Gray, let me ask you, you want veterans to know University of Massachusetts Amherst wants them on campus. You want to do everything you can to make their transition to the classroom comfortable and welcoming as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Like many universities, we have a growing veterans population, and we've done a few things over the last couple of years that we're really excited about. The first being we have expanded our Student Veteran Resource Center. We moved from a pretty small space in the administration building to now a larger space in Dickinson Hall. And we are also adding a new full-time position, a director of that center. That position's posted right now. So we're really excited to be not only expanding the staff working with veterans, but the space we have available. And we are also doing a lot of new initiatives, particularly focused on the transition from military life to campus life, because we know it's really important for our veteran students to come to campus and realize they have supports available. It's okay to ask for help, and really to make that transition from a very structured life to sometimes a very unstructured university life.
David Vacchi, there's a great couple of lines on the web page that you have specifically for the Student Veterans Resource Center within the university's overall website. And I really want to quote it. You say, come in to the center, introduce yourself to our staff, enjoy a cup of coffee. You want folks to come in and just get to know you and vice versa.
Absolutely. I think that any special population, of which veterans is going to be one, you want them to feel them. I say them like I'm not part of them. I am part of them. to feel welcome, so that if there is that moment of need or crisis, or even if it's not even as much as a crisis, that they know they can come to friends. The coffee is a great side benefit, a quiet place to study, maybe to watch the news or to get on the internet or do some homework or whatever. But it's the camaraderie and the conversations that you have, the brief and sometimes in-depth friendships that you develop that allow you comfort enough to know that if I'm having a moment of problem, that I can go and find friends there. That's the critical point of having the space.
Dean Gray, I want to pick up on something you said toward the end of your last answer that I had thought about and wondered about. I don't know if in many ways there's anything more different than some time in the military and then time at a big university. Because the military basically, and in no way is this criticism, but you know, you're told you got to be up at 500 hours or whatever to be here at 600. And I mean, your meals are ready at the time. You are told what to do. That's what your job is. University, you're basically told by professors, here's when classes are, here's how many times you better be here, you missed this many. Beyond that, not a lot of rules. You study when you want. If you're up all night and you're down in the morning, as long as you're making your classes pretty regularly, that's about all the rules there are within reason. And I would think that's got to be something some of the vets deal with in a little bit of a different way, maybe.
Yeah, that's a huge transition that we find for our students. And, and I think all incoming students face that on some level. But I think for our veterans, it's a little bit different because they're used to being adults with a job, earning money. So they're coming in with the experience of being very responsible and having a huge purpose. And I think when that transition to the university happens, there's still a purpose, but it's different. There's not as much as David mentioned the word camaraderie. You have to find that at a university. And I think what we try to do with the veterans is help them try to find that structure and realize that the center is a safe place for them to go. And also, navigating a big university can be difficult. It doesn't always all make sense if you don't work at a university. I mean, it makes sense to me. I've been there for a while. But what we try to do is make sure that our veterans know that at the different offices on campus that there's a point person that they can go to that's going to understand their experience. A really great example is in the office I work in the Dean of Students office. You know, I have a sense of what it's like to potentially, if you're in the National Guard, to have to leave for training in the summer and to get that you might not be able to personally call our office to contact professors, that maybe your spouse or your parent has to do it for you. And typically we don't allow that to happen, but we understand that our veterans and our active military, because we say veterans, but we also mean our active military, that their circumstances are a little bit different and we have to kind of alter for them to help them make this transition. So yeah, helping them find structure and also helping them, you know, understand that the university is a friendly place to navigate and there are people here to help them.
Yeah, Colonel Daki, one of the things I've learned doing this, and if I've heard it once, I've heard it 100 times, every veteran or every military person's story is their story. Everybody's different, everybody's got different needs. Let's imagine a military man or woman is watching this now, they see it and say, you know, I've just registered at UMass for the upcoming semester, or I'm thinking about it. They come up to Dickinson Hall, they find the Resource Center, they walk in and tell you that story. What happens then?
So what we're going to do is we're going to find out what their contact information is first, and we're going to try to convince them to come to our voluntary transition orientation. And this allows for them to ask a few questions for us to cover several bases that will help them navigate, like Kelly said, the confusion which can be the higher education. The next thing we'll try to do is to convince them to take our new transition course program, which gets into more depth into some of the theory behind the changing cultures that they're experiencing, and then help them along with thinking differently about the way that they're interacting with society. When we were in the military, it's a totally military culture. If you thought like that, it was fine. Well, as you alluded to before, that's not exactly going to work well in the higher education community. And you don't have to completely disavow yourself of being a veteran, but what you have to do is understand that you're a bit of a fish out of water, and how can you navigate that a little bit better. And so we deprocessed that a little bit by reflecting on who we were as military people and who are we now as college students, and where do we want to go in our civilian career. And so by the time those few weeks of that course go through, we now have a great feeling of, all right, I can do this, my feet are under me, I have friends, I have relationships, I know where to come if there's a problem. And again, it helps create a little bit of structure and direction as they pursue their degree.
Dean Graham, I'm going back to the website, and again, a great phrase that just jumped out at me. It said, UMass Amherst is committed to the success of student veterans. It's such a simple few words, so important. Flesh that out. And you've been doing that the whole time you're here, but flesh that out. The vet is going to find friends at UMass Amherst.
Absolutely. I mean, I think every student that comes into higher education, you know, has the right to have a good experience and to be well served by the university. But for me, when I think about these veterans who have served our country and they've put their time in, I want to make sure that they're putting their veteran benefits to good use. You know, they earn these benefits in the military, and now they've chosen to use them at UMass Amherst. And if they're going to do that, I want to make sure that they're successful. So, you know, David talked about some great programs that he's been working on, and one of the things that I've found really helpful is we are really making a commitment to blend kind of the knowledge that people like David have about the military with what we know about higher education. So we're really making a commitment in this new director position that we're hiring, that we are hiring somebody with a military background because we want them to bring that expertise to teach us at the university what we might not know about the transition. So I think part of it is making sure they know we exist, that there's a safe space for them. In the center, we work with the counseling office, disability services, we work with academic advisors, we work with the Center for Health Promotions, career services, to make sure that the veterans see that these folks are really committed to seeing their success. So taking what the university already has to offer, but to bring it to their space and say, this is for you too. You might be a little bit older, you might have a different experience than some of our other students, but we want you to access the resources, and we want you to know that we're going to honor your experience as a veteran and realize that you're not going to be the same as an 18, 19-year-old student who's making the transition directly for high school, and we recognize that difference.
Well, Dean Kelly Gray and David Vacchi, we are already out of time, but there's so much we want to say. We want to say thank you for what you're doing for our vets. Thank you very much for coming in and spending some time with us today.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Veterans Coming Home is made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by Pride Stores. WGBY is proud to partner with the VA Central Western Massachusetts, Soldier On, and the Bilingual Veterans Outreach Centers of Massachusetts to support veterans in their successful transition to civilian life. Information at wgby.veteranscominghome.org.